Overnight, as I said, Victoria's become the first state to pass legislation that will enable a treaty with its Indigenous population, which I said at the start tonight, numbers 1% of the population of Victoria, around 66,000 people. That's according to the 2021 census. Now, it's quite astonishing when you consider the majority of Victorians voted against this kind of division when they voted no in the referendum. One of the main proponents of the No campaign was Indigenous leader Warren Mundine. We talk to him regularly on the program. He joins me now. Warren, I mean...
G'day, Steve. How you go?
Government, like the Victorian... How can the Victorian state government just completely ignore what 54 or 57% of Victorians said, we don't want an alternative voice?
Well, not only that, when they had the vote for the treaty within the Aboriginal community, where the eligible people who could vote, only 7% of them supported the treaty. So that's 93% of even Aboriginals did not support the treaty. And I can see why, because even if you are a treaty supporter, it doesn't recognise Aboriginal culture, it doesn't recognise traditional owners, and that it's just another body that the Labor Party sets up. But I'm not surprised that the Jacinta Allan government has ignored that. They've been ignoring the economy for a long time, and you can see the state is just a basket case.
You and I have talked for years about the issue of the gap between Indigenous Australians and non-Indigenous, and you and I have often said what you've got to do here is come up with ways to make that better. Is this treaty, which was passed in the upper house of the Victorian Parliament last night, going to do that?
No, it's not. There's a track record in this area. You've seen a number of these things done across Australia since the 1970s, and it hasn't made any change in Aboriginal people's lifestyle. What you've got to do is focus on education, focus on crime, focus on economic development, and focus on governance. We got a lot of money coming out of the mining industry across Australia, billions of dollars every year going into Aboriginal communities, and it hasn't changed their life. You've got billions of dollars of government funding going into this area, and it hasn't changed their life. These people who are sitting on these bodies have been around for a long time. You've seen New South Wales with the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Rights Act. It's been there since 1983, and it hasn't improved Aboriginal people's lives. So we got to stop treating people differently. We've got to treat them on a needs basis. Aboriginals like myself, we don't need any of this. And there's a lot of Aboriginals who are like this, something like 80% of them. And we need to start getting to the real problems and the real issues that are happening. Now, I see this as just a sideshow because of the crime rate that's happening in Melbourne. You've seen Rita Papani's article today about, even though she's a lover of Melbourne, she reckons Sydney's even better than Melbourne. You're going to get, the energy cost, everything is falling apart in Victoria. And I'm glad to hear that Ben Batten has come out and has made it quite clear that if they win the next election, they will, within the first 100 days, pull this treaty out.
Well, this 33-person outfit called Galang Wal, that's going to cost $70 million a year. It's going to have direct access to government departments, government ministers. They're not going to pay land tax. They're going to be free of freedom of information. They're going to put a new curriculum into schools. This is all of the work of what I call inner urban Indigenous professionals. That's who benefits from it. Not the people out in remote communities around Australia, even remote communities like in the northwest of Victoria, up around Robinvale and Mildura.
Now, and a good hint of who they're looking after is just this: you don't have to pay land tax. How many Australians, whether they're Aboriginal or non-Aboriginal, actually pay land tax? You have to be quite wealthy to do that, and you have to have a very expensive land in that to do that. So they're only looking after themselves, and that's what they all do. They forget about the Aboriginals on the ground, the people out there in the remote and regional areas and in the bush, and who are struggling. Who are, they can't get jobs, their kids are not going to school, the statistics are terrible in that place, and the health standards are not going forward as well. So look, this is just another, bright idea by the government to actually divert away from the problems that are really facing Aboriginal people.
Warren, always great to catch up with you. Thank you